Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to High School Hoops with your hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Steger.
All right, welcome to High School Hoops. Before Jake and I jump in, we're going to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish. I know there's more competition out there, but it doesn't matter. It's still the best thing out there. Go mention High School Hoops. They'll give you $350 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. I'm going to need it because Jake can verify that my wife just came in here 30 seconds ago and yelled at me because I locked her out of the house. So I might need some money for a hotel room. So teachhoops.com will maybe let me go get that hotel room. I'm not making that up, am I? I locked my wife out of the house.
Yeah, I had to leave because I felt very uncomfortable. So I made my frozen pizza right now for my kids.
Sorry about that. She goes, "You locked me." I go, "I'm just so used to locking the back door," and then I don't know, she couldn't get in.
Well, I was like, "Oh, it's getting real. I got to get out of here, dude. I'm feeling uncomfortable, even though we're talking virtually."
This is pretty funny. All right, so before we jump on, we're going to talk about something that you brought up. This was your topic, I think.
Yep.
Coaching turnover. So what do you think?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me this year with the coaching turnover is that it's very noticeable that some of the best coaches in our state are retiring. That to me, I wonder if this season just kind of puts based with COVID and everything, does that kind of at that point, like, how do you get remotivated and get those batteries going after such a long season? Like, I wasn't coaching this year, so I didn't experience it all. I experienced even from a director of COVID involved for soccer and making sure people were masked and how stressful that was. I could not imagine how it was this year for people to be a high school basketball coach. It would be definitely interesting. Maybe we can get a coach on just to get their insight of what it was like, because it had to be such a stressful experience. But right now, when I look at our state, there's about 50 job changes already, and it's only May. So
yeah, So here's my feeling on this. Couple things. First of all, I was not able to coach. So I think personally, from outside looking in, I think it was harder for the guys that did kind of coach. I think
I agree 110%. It's like for the ones that have been like teachers that have, not been in person all year, it was harder for them,
right.
Like trying to transition and do it. Then, all right, I'm going to teach in person all year, and I got to deal with contact tracing and all this social distancing and trying to figure all this out. But in the end, the people that had to adjust multiple times, like we did in our situation, It became a lot harder,
Yeah, I think so too. It's like in our area, they didn't start till halfway through the season, and then they start. I think that because, to be honest with you, it almost, my son graduated. I was kind of like, oh, do I, is this kind of like, should I step out here? And then, I've got a couple people coming in that are very excited about, and they're excited to play for Memorial. But then I almost got a second, it was horrible to be home all winter in the house, but it almost gave me a second wind. I really do. I really almost think it like, because not that I probably did more basketball, but I wasn't like teaching all day and then going to practice, then jumping on a bus and then getting home late and eating eating crap. I've eaten more than I probably ever eaten in an entire year, but I've probably been eating better food too. I'm not stopping at Chick-fil-A or blah, blah, blah. And, it's like,
but you've had 2 years too, Steve. Don't mean to cut you off, like two extremes, right? So like this is your last year was your last year of your son, coaching your son, right? So you're like at an all-time, like you were coaching with volleyball, right? And you got to be his high school coach in 2 sports, and your first kid might be leaving to go to college. I mean, that's just that's a high that way, right?
Like 7 years of coaching fall and winter back to back.
Yep.
Nonstop, all this energy, teaching statistics, teaching seniors, and then all of a sudden, literally, someone turned the switch off. And after the initial, like, quote unquote, scare of the whole thing, I probably slept the best I've ever slept in my entire life.
Because you not only you were done with volleyball because that was your last year year, and then you didn't coach basketball this year. So like you went from like one extreme to the other. Right? Like Twilight Zone. Like that's how I felt this year. Right. Just like I'm getting really sick of looking at my screen every day and seeing my face.
You know what? One of the things I realized though, and this is something for younger coaches, is I realized it will be okay. Like when I stop coaching, I'm still helping. We're doing this. I'm helping coaches with Teach Hoops. I started a couple other businesses. I'm going to be plenty busy.
I know, and
I'm glad you're talking to me again. I appreciate. I'm on my podcast. Would you like to say hi to the entire world? Because I'm not cutting this out. No. And tell everybody what I did. What did you do? What did I do when you were outside that you couldn't? You locked me out. I locked her out. There we go. We're going to leave that in the podcast. Close the door on the way out.
Again, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I feel like uncomfortable.
People all over the world care. So we're leaving that in. Is that funny, Jake?
And I have to agree with you. I'm just going to give you a situation. Now I teach first grade. You would never think that you're basketball coaching your passion. I have this first grade girl in my class. She loves basketball. Every recess, she's dribbling the ball. After school, I see her after school in the gym because she's in aftercare, and I've literally taught her how to shoot the basketball, and she's making shots in first grade. I think it never goes away. It's just a different capacity of what you do. Right. And one thing I have noticed too is some of our best coaches, how we categorize best, but some of our better coaches or have successful coaches might step away from a couple of years and then they're right back into it.
Right. The thing is, I'm gonna do other things. Like I used to hunt and fish and go on hikes in the woods. Like when I was in my 20s and 30s, I used to do that all the time. Well, then I had kids, and I became a head coach, and I took another job, and blah blah blah. It's almost like I'm thinking like, and we bought a lake house. I told you that. So all of a sudden that's taken, now I'm trying to find contracts. Like it's amazing. I think your life fills void as long as you're open to letting them get filled.
Especially if you're someone that has so many things that have filled it.
That interests me too.
And you're also able to say, you know what, you can get, when you become a high school basketball coach, and this is for anybody out there, I coach collegiate too, and high school, is that you learn that you can fill so much in your life that there's some people you just know they go to work and they sit home and do nothing. But like, no matter what, you being a high school basketball coach for 5, 6 years, 10 years, it's going to make you a better person because you're going to get the full thing out of life. So once you say you're done, you're still going to find 100 different things that you're going to absorb into because you just realize, holy cow, I could really do a lot with my life.
The thing is, the funny part is too, it's like all these people that chase numbers and wins and titles. And again, I can say it because I've won basically at the highest level you can win at in our state numerous times. And so I can probably say that a little easier than a young coach, but like, I'm okay. Like, if I stop coaching, I'm okay. Like, I've proven what we can do at our program, and I think it's in good hands and that kind of stuff. But you're right. I think so. Going back to the initial discussion, I think the coaching turnover, I think it multiplied for the coaches that coach. Like, it wasn't like 1 year, it was like 7 years. Like, whoa, do I really need all this stress? And I'm
right. Especially your veteran coaches that have been around, like to learn how to be adaptive. Like, a lot of the people that have been coaching for 20, 30 years, it's always been the same, for so long. And suddenly a thing like COVID and, all this other, it's huge. And it's a lot of stress on, especially people that, that never handled it before. I mean, it is a stressful situation. I mean, even for younger coaches too, you're put in that situation and you could be quarantined for 2 weeks, and it was
only 6 days now in our state, but yeah, I know, it's crazy. I'm telling you, we're on the other side of this thing. If New York City, who has 1 million kids, can go back to school next fall, it's looking good. I'm just telling you, it's looking
for sure.
good.
And like I think you point out too, is that it's been an incredibly hard year, and it's a stressful job. And I think the amount of stress more this year, just way over it. And you lose. I also think you lose this year all the little joy factors that don't necessarily equate to the reality of all the fun things that high school basketball is about. And Steve, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about when I start elaborating on a little bit more. The after parties with the kids, like going for pizza or doing the team building things, and connecting with the families and having a full group of fans out there in the community and doing all that stuff. Like, all those little things, when something like you have a bad loss or things aren't going for you for a week or two, can really pull you back in. But when you're only absorbed with those kids and there's nothing else around you, it becomes extremely stressful.
It does. I mean, I don't think I knew the stress I was under until the world shut down.
For sure.
Don't know. I don't think I knew. It was like, whoa, are you whoa, like. And everyone that's ever retired has told me that. They said, you just don't realize it because it's like you're the captain of the ship in the middle of the storm, and you don't know, you're just trying to get the ship through the storm, and you're not realizing that you're in like a monsoon kind of thing. You just don't realize it. And then all of a sudden when you come out of it at the other end, that's what everyone's always told me. They go, you just.
So my question to you is, I guess we don't want to pull off the topic, was just discussion. I don't want to, as a podcast, push people away from coaching the game. I mean, what can we say to people? What can we say to say, hey, it was a tough year, but like, if your heart's still in it, you still want to do it, go for it.
So here's the stats teacher, and I'm a stats teacher. This was an outlier. This was not normal. We're going to go back to normal, and then everyone's going to go back and all the little, So no, I mean, the reason I wanted to talk about coaching because I think the coaching part of it, at least in our state, part of that turnover was older coaches. I don't need this anymore. This was too stressful. I don't even know what's going to happen next year, even though I can tell them it's going to be normal by next winter. Our new normal, but it's going to be normal. So I think that's going back to the original topic. I think the coaching turnover is that. No, it is the best. I'm telling you, you never feel with the stress, you also never feel more alive than when you're coaching. That's why I coach. I mean, it's the competitive part. It's the adrenaline part. It's the closest you can get to actually being out there. Like, I think all of us would go back to those teenage years and, I wish I could do that again.
Right.
And coaching is the closest you can get to that. And I tell people it's the greatest job in the world. Where else do I get to I mean, if you're working at a desk, how often do you really get to compete? Like, maybe you're in a sales, fun. You're trying to beat the guy next to you and sell more cars or something, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
You don't got a crowd of 3,000 people cheering you on.
Right. You also don't have 3,000 people questioning it.
Good sale. Good sale.
Good sale. Yeah.
Exactly.
You also don't have 3,000 people going, what the heck is he doing?
Why is he calling a timeout right now?
Why are you calling a timeout? That's a horrible call.
This guy has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah,
terrible.
You better have a thick skin, and I don't think the turnover is because these guys don't have thick skins. I just think it did what we were talking about with me. It was like, whoa, I'm near the end. I've done what I needed to do. Let's turn it over to a young pup and let them do it. So,
Sure.
all right. So coaching turnaround, I think that was a great topic, Coach. Until next week.
Sounds good. Thanks.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.